pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Adoption of the agenda. Omissions, admissions.
I just was going to mention, under other business, we're going to ask the board to extend the deadline for bids on the boat launch project. There's a lot of interest in the project, a lot of questions, and it would be in the town's best interest to push that date out 2 weeks. So we're going to ask you to do that by vote.
All right.
Thank you.
Public comment? Nope. Select board announcements.
I got a quick one. At our last fisheries committee meeting, we discussed maybe starting a fundraise to buy a sign that would go underneath the Welcome to Harpswell signs that was more permanent in the banner that would say something along the lines of Welcome to Harpswell, a working waterfront community, instead of having the banners. And I just wanted to see if that would be something you guys were okay with, if we kind of handled it on our own as a committee and got carrot signs.
Or drop a concept.
What?
Have them drop a concept
Yeah, oh yeah.
for us
Yep.
to look at then.
Yep, yep, I'll bring you guys a concept once we have it and stuff, but we'd take care of all the, Billy Saxton said he knew a couple people that were willing to donate already to get a nicer sign made.
I'm interested in the concept. However, there are two other things that we put on there.
There'll still be room.
There's the fireworks, which people come into town thinking that's a free-for-all, that Maine is illegal to have fireworks anytime when they're not here. So we like to put that up a couple weeks in July. And in the fall, there's heating assistance that we like to
Yeah.
make sure that, so just, want to make sure there's room for that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, a one-line sign, I think there'll still be plenty of room for that. It'd be right abutting the Welcome to Harpswell and the same type of design, so everything looked and matched and flowed.
It gets so cluttered, nobody will read it. That's
Could
the
it be
problem.
added to that sign?
We can
Yeah, I
explore
think-
that option.
Because
as
I
well.
believe Carrot Signs made that sign for
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
so
they did, from
they
what I
could
understand.
maybe
That might be the thing to
modify
do.
it
Yeah,
and
we
add
can look
it.
into that as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
kind of get the board's temperature, if that was something you guys were okay with us pursuing and looking into. And then obviously I will bring back concepts, before we go with anything, to run by you guys.
I think adding it to the sign is, that's
Yeah.
who we are, that's us. Thanks, welcome.
Yeah, and that's why I brought it here, because I figured you guys might have some insight and some good ideas, and that was something I hadn't thought of, and I think would be probably the easiest and looks the best too. So, yeah.
Yep. See what we come up with. Anything, David?
Only to mention, I see people walking with traffic still, and you're supposed to walk against traffic, boy, you'll get nailed, you'll get run over.
All the time.
Yep.
Town administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. I do want to mention that the 2025 tax bills have been mailed, according to the company that does that for us. We have also posted all of the information on our website. You can go to the home page, there's a property tax section, and you can click on that, and there's over 5,000 records of all the property taxpayers in Harpswell. So people can start checking that information, and they don't have to wait for the bill to show up. We do have an opening at the recycling center and transfer station. It's a full-time position, so anyone who might be interested, please check out the website. We have applications on the website, and we're keeping that position open until we find the right person for that position. And the other piece I just wanted to mention briefly tonight, Clark Cove. I know the board previously has asked the staff to work on getting something that you might take before the voters. So the Recreation Director, Katie Neal, who's here tonight, she and I met with a couple of state folks. We walked the site. We did have to do some bushwhacking. And they also came back and put up a couple of signs that they felt that should have been there for a number of years, identifying the property as public property owned by the state, purchased with land and water conservation funds, must be used for recreational purposes. The piece that we're going to work on is meeting with the neighbors and talking about the proposed draft management agreement that we received from the state, getting input and feedback on that. So we're looking at sometime in September or October holding that type of meeting and just wanted to keep you informed about that.
Where are we on getting a survey done of the actual property?
Well, we asked the state if they would do a survey, and they said it wasn't necessary, and it was not something they would spend money on.
So-
They did put up a couple of markers to identify where the boundary locations are, but that was not something that they felt needed to be done or paid for by the state.
So they would leave that up to us if we wanted to?
I
or-
think-
Or if there was any boundary disputes, like
Yeah.
the neighbors didn't agree with where the state put the line, who has to deal with that, us or the state?
I think some of the early plans show us keeping the public away from any boundary areas that, might come into dispute. I think we're trying to stay away from Morse Shore Road and having a path closer to Clark Cove. So I'm not aware that we're going to run into any boundary disputes, but there could be some, at some point.
Yeah, and they noticed that a pin was recently put in by one of the neighbors who had done a survey. So there are pins put in
Oh, okay,
by
good.
the neighborhood
That helps.
that we're not looking to fight against. And then as you get towards the water, there are some granite boulders that have been there for a long time that mark the property.
In the code office, actually, has the GPS coordinates. When we were down there, Tim had them all on his phone.
The properties on Morse Shore aren't very well delineated, so, that's easily trespassed. I think that's part of their concern.
So I just wanted to give you that update.
Right,
Thank you.
is that it? Oh. Consent agenda.
I move the consent agenda, which is fairly simple and straightforward this week. It is the approval of the minutes, as usual, cloud services contract, and authorization of the warrants.
I will second it.
No discussion, all in favor? All right. We have a WARP application, Carolyn Kurtz and Gerald Pfaff, WARP application, 80 Hildreth Road, map 5, lot 43.
Sam Clark with codes, thank you. Yes, we have a wharf application, 80 Hildreth, as you said, map 5, lot 43. We did 2 site visits to this, one's with the planning board because it's in the VE zone, and then one is our codes office site visit. It is close to the property line, a butter has signed off on it. That was one of my concerns at first, but after going back 2 or 3 times, it is the best place for it, given the lay of the land, and knowing that there's a waterway next to, I'm going to call it the north side of this, there would never be another wharf or dock application that would get any closer to this area, so I was satisfied with that.
How close to the property line will it be? I can't recall.
It's quite close. It's
10
10
10
feet,
feet.
it looks like.
or
And the
10.
ordinance allows us.
25.
25.
We're supposed to be at 25.
But it allows
This-
you to reduce it to how far?
To the 10, as long as we have the abutter sign off, which he did, and it's recorded.
Okay, so
Correct.
it's not greater than. what
Correct.
It allows. For some reason, I thought we allowed 15, but we allowed
10.
down to 10.
Correct.
I'm good with it.
You good with it? All right. I move to approve the application as the harbor master indicates. There's no hazard to navigation, no injury to rights, others in relation to fishing, fouling, or navigating.
Second?
Thank you.
All in favor?
You beat me
There we
to it in a
go.
second.
And
was
even though
quick.
you already addressed that, I agree with that Clark thing. The Field Maps app
Yeah.
did show us, and when I walked to the neighbors, they showed me where their pins were, which lined up very well with the app.
Good to know, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Request for proposals for paving Devil's Back, Truth and Somerton entrances, demolition of Mitchell Field Administration Building.
I'll let Katie go first with the Trufant, Somerton, and Devil's Back parking.
Yes, this is a project that started before I came on board, but that was budgeted in this fiscal year. And the Land Trust has agreed to split the costs with us at the Trufant field because they access it for parking for their preserve. We're just looking to pave the aprons to the entrance to Trufant and then the 2 different entrances to Devil's Back, not the full parking area. Just to make it easier for folks to get in and out safely.
Yep, well, I move that we put out RFPs for paving Devilback and Trufant Somerton Field.
And we'll second it.
No discussion? All in favor?
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Katie.
So the next piece is the remediation of the hazardous materials at the administration building and the demolition of that building. The voters approved this project in the June vote, and we have a $230,000 budget to take this on. We have been in discussions with the state about possible grant funding for the removal of hazardous materials, so that still remains a possibility. I think once we have the final cost in, maybe that will allow us to present specific information to the state about those costs, and hopefully there will be funding this fall that's available. But nothing is promised or guaranteed at this point. We worked with the Mid-Coast Council of Governments, of which Harpswell is a member community, and they developed this RFP for the town. They have worked on putting these types of projects together before, because they do typically get a lot of brownfield money for cleaning up various areas, and so this was developed by Mid-Coast Council of Governments. We are going to add a little more language about requiring a payment and performance bond and being very clear about what our insurance requirements are. But we're now at the point where we would like the board to approve the RFP, subject to some more wording about insurance requirements and being very specific about those bonds being required.
Yeah,
Okay, so moved.
I'll second it.
I see no discussion. All in favor?
And I do want to thank Don Miskell, our Mitchellfield steward, who's here in the audience tonight, because I know it's been a long haul getting to this point. We're not at the end yet, but we're maybe getting
One
closer
step closer,
to that.
Don, one step closer.
Yeah, but it's got a garage like every main garage that's full of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
hopefully it doesn't end up under a tarp like every other main garage does.
Thank you.
all right. Next one, the Governor's Office of Community and Action Grant application for a groundwater study.
So Mary Ann, I think it's Ken. Here we go.
Mary Ann.
Wow.
Here she comes.
Nope, don't fight over it.
Good evening. Mary Ann Nave, representing the Resiliency and Sustainability Committee, and member Ken Omick and Deirdre Strachan are here to talk to you about a project that we have. What I'm going to do, I had sent through earlier an outline of the project. What I want to give you tonight is we've been working on the budget and thought that would be more helpful.
Thanks. I like
Because I
this.
think that's what you have a big interest.
Yep.
We can share.
Thanks, Mary Ann.
And, Ken, and I thought, this has been a great project, because I went away at the beginning of this, and Ken and Deirdre and a few other members put it all together. And so I think we have it pretty well set out. I gave you an outline in the memo that I sent. I thought I would have Ken address any questions you have about the information program, perhaps, and or I can go over it really quickly, whichever you prefer.
Go ahead. I've seen nothing from these two.
Sure, go ahead, Ken.
Okay. Okay.
I've read it, it looks pretty simple.
Oh, yeah,
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
We wanted to compile two projects in one grant. We have been working on in the Resiliency Committee with a booklet on climate resilience to reach out to the community, similar to Scuttlebuck, talking about ways to save energy. We're also going to include water-wise information on it. So this was a vehicle to pay for the printing. So we wanted to get that into the project. But the biggest part of the project is it gives us the opportunity to do a water study, which has been a big issue with the comprehensive plan. What we are proposing is, in talking to a hydrologist, who has been working on this project in a number of the communities. We have a lot of information already that we've had in the past. In fact, she worked on some of the previous studies that we did in 2008 and the Gerber Rand. So she's very familiar with Harpswell. She is familiar with what we've done. What she is proposing for us to get a handle on where the wells are located in town is a online survey that we would ask residents to fill out. And as part of the survey, you put in your address, but it also then asks you, once you put that in, it'll put a tag on Google Maps, and then you can go out with your phone, take a picture of where your well is, and it will automatically upload the coordinates. That way, the state will have that information of where it is. So we're hoping that, and, we're going to do a lot of outreach with that, just to really acquaint the community of what we're trying to do and get their buy-in on it. So that's the basic two parts. And Ken, did you want to add anything?
I guess the only thing I add a little bit on the timing on this is the sort of the guide portion. We anticipate that's something we're pretty far along on, and that would be possibly in the spring that we'd have that out. Probably about the same time we'd be introducing the whole concept of gathering the well information to the town. And that part we expect, and for the program, it's considered a 2-year grant. And so there would be a good many months gathering data. We're hoping to have ways to follow up on building incomplete data.
Now, is this hydrologist going to tell us anything different than the Wright and Gordon's, the state hydrologist, or the other people?
She works very closely with the state.
Yeah.
She's going to give us the ability to get well locations, which is going to help the state as well. She's also going to, from what I understand, is we want to get all this data in one spot and electronically. So she will upload what we have. Margaret has furnished her with all the background studies we've done, as well as some of the GPS stuff that we have done. So she would coordinate that when she does her basically she's going to set up the process for us to do the information gathering. She's going to set it up so that it automatically goes to Google Maps and tags. Then she will take that information, marry it to what we have already, and give us another file at the end. Help me here, Ken. At the end.
Right. I think we have sort of two peaks. We have the complete data set at the end, but I think the other value we want the hydrologist is sort of analysis of the current data where we are now. In other words, identify this certain section of town has a high percentage of seawater intrusion, then that might be something very useful for future development planning. But as Mary Ann said, we would also have the database of, to go forward, and a baseline of how many wells have issues, capacity, and sort of the core information you have on a well.
And to your point, Kevin, I think as much as we say it, I think it's just going to take more and more involvement on this issue with the residents to have them completely comprehend what our well situation is.
Not to sound cynical, but maybe more realistic. What do you think the compliance will be town-wide on this?
We don't know. Interesting.
I have a clue.
Well, I don't know.
Are you going to include any information in the booklet that you make about the data collection, why you're
Yes,
doing
yes,
it? I think that would,
Those
if you're,
go together, it's explaining, when we introduce the booklet, we
Yeah.
also introduce the plan and why it's important for the town.
because that's going to be the only way you're going to remotely get any type of response,
It's-
I think.
To your point, though, Kevin, it's interesting. Was it 1998, I believe, when we did our last on-site testing of water? We got like 80% responses from residents that wanted us to come in and test their water, from what I've been told.
Yeah, well,
So
that was
we-
different. They wanted free water testing.
Well, that's true. At this point, we're not offering that.
Oh, okay.
But
Hey,
maybe we'll have to in the future, I don't know.
well, good luck.
We're going to be optimistic. Just to talk about the budget a little bit, the largest part of the budget is the
Hydrologist.
hydrologist study, exactly, of which I'm still working with her. She's been in the field. We've got a ballpark number in there. We try to put it on the high end. I contacted her today to see if I can at least get a better idea now that she's had the information to look at. And then, of course, the printing of the mailing of the booklets is $10,000, and then $5,000 for our meetings and publicity. Deirdre and I had a very interesting conversation with Holly from the Coastal Studies Center today, and they are offering to provide us with a summer intern next year, worth approximately $5,000, which will allow us to get help when we are reaching out to the public, whether we want to, there's going to be people who don't know how to do what we want to do and would like us to come in and perhaps help them. They would be able to help us with some of the other internal record keeping we're going to have. So that was really exciting to hear that today. She's working on that with their grant committee now.
So you're asking for the select board's support. In what way would you like that? A
The
letter
use of spirit funds.
I would
Just
like
a-
you to authorize us to
Well,
go for the
that's,
grant.
well, that's goes without saying, but you don't, other than authorizing the spirit funds, you don't want a letter or anything?
I don't think so. However, you know, I'm actually been in touch with Comprehensive Plan Task Force Chair to see if they would write a letter of support, just because it's something we talked about so much in there. But you're applying for the grant, actually.
Right.
Oh, you want to slide up?
Got to use the microphone.
No, the whole world wants to hear you.
What's that?
Only when they say naughty words.
Deirdre Strachan, sorry. Another component of the project is going to be education. So there will be a whole series of workshops, and hopefully the Land Trust will also help us with that, and the Schiller Center at Bowdoin will offer their facilities for us to have workshops to talk to people about how you preserve your water, how you keep water on your land, those kind of things, so we can also not waste the little we have left. So,
I like this idea. I just have one question. Do you have any idea, like, how much data or like how many wells you would need to identify for it to be actual usable, viable data? You get what I'm asking? Like,
I kind of do. The interesting point.
I'm just afraid of allocating that money and then you get 10 people that respond, and that's a lot of money for not much data.
I hadn't thought about that. However, what I do know is when we downloaded what the state has, it's not accurate. The Conservation Commission, 2 years ago, Nancy West downloaded all the documents that the state has, and we all checked our streets.
Yep.
And
Nobody was right.
no. So our thinking is a lot of this information was on paper with the state, and Some of it's been uploaded and some of it hasn't. But to your point, Matt, I don't know.
I hope you get enough. I think
I hope
that
so,
will be
too.
your biggest challenge, though, is how to get people to. And I think you have the right idea by putting that information in the booklets and stuff and kind of prepping people and stuff for it. I support the idea myself. I just, any way I can help.
I'm curious, I seem to have two people there, sitting there that are kind of worried that we're not going to get the response. Can you give me any suggestions on how we might get around that?
No, you know, I was probably being a little too pessimistic. Just stick with your plan.
I think your booklet and your outreach before you ask for that is your best tool to get that done, you know, and inform people instead of just going and asking for the data
That's a good
before they
point.
know why. You
Build
know,
some-
if you explain to them why.
Build
you know,
some
we're doing this.
enthusiasm.
Because as you well know, I mean, this is brought up how many times at the comp plan. It's like
Yeah.
beating the dead horse, you know, so people do care and are concerned, and you just have to show them, you know, if you give us this data, this is going to help you in the long run.
in the
People
long-
need to see the benefit of it.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion is somehow show and explain how this benefits everybody, you know.
Right.
And I think it does. And I think you guys can do that.
So, but that'll be a lot to do with our timing on that,
Yeah,
Ken.
that's why our hope
Yeah.
was that we'd have those meetings, right, sort of rolling out the testing phase. And I think you point out, the comp plan has gotten so much attention, we're hoping to sort of piggyback on that to
Yeah.
get better
Yeah.
engagement and.
I think that's a good idea, too.
Yeah.
And check with OBI back 40-odd years ago when I was with Bailey Island Fire Department. We had a list of all the dug wells in Harpswell.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Check with Ben Wallace. He can dig it up. But,
Well, that's good to
Yeah,
know.
we had a folder with all the
There are
dug wells.
still
in
some,
town.
there are still some out there.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea, and I hope it works, so I'll move that we accept the Small Community Grant Award and
Oh, we're just applying.
No,
we're
reply.
applying.
Just applying.
Yeah.
Sorry, skip the, or I move that we allow them to apply.
Yeah.
I think one addition, Mary, I think we maybe also allow Christie to sign it, because sometimes we come
Well,
to fire on this.
I'd like to modify Matt's, yeah.
Go right ahead.
That-
You're better at them than me, I'm
I
better
move
at
that we
seconding.
approve the use of spare funds, first of all, and then that we authorize Christie to sign and complete the application.
And I will second
All
that,
right.
there we go.
All right. Any discussion? Nothing? All in favor?
Like,
Great, thank you very much.
Thanks
All
for
right.
cleaning that up, Dave.
We will hear in December.
Oh, December. That's a ways out, isn't it?
It is.
Well, it's coming
You've been
quicker than
very
you think.
successful, so we'll see.
Knock wood, we'll see.
We're worried that might count against us.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, accept small community grant award and authorize request for bids.
So we were able to turn a not-so-good situation into a better
There we go.
situation.
It's back.
It's okay. Oh, I hit my cord. The town of Harpswell was awarded a $30,000 grant a couple of months ago to replace a resident's failing septic system. Not all of those funds were used. The local contractor did discount their price as part of a community service. That left just under $13,000 left in that grant. The state has awarded that to the town of Harpswell. Again, a good situation, not so good situation is the town office septic system was initially installed in 1986. It was expanded in 2002 with this room and this portion of the building, and it is experiencing signs of failure and needs replacement. And so we can use we've been awarded just about $13,000 plus an additional $5,000 to put towards that septic system that I'm asking the select board to accept and to authorize sending out the request for bids for the replacement of the septic system.
do you think the $17,458.60 will be enough?
No, it's not going to be enough. No.
Where's the rest coming from?
Out of our town
Facilities.
facilities.
So we have that, okay.
We do have that, and I will say, you're very familiar with small community grant being income-driven. Obviously, they have another portion of eligible projects, which are municipalities. They automatically, if funding is available and if you apply and get your application approved, they will fund up to 90%. This has been after the funding cycle, so I can't get the full 90%, but we are able to at least capture about $17,000. And there is another residence septic system failing that I've applied for emergency funding for that as well, which is a different pot, so I can't really
Good.
apply for emergency
Yeah.
funding for the town of Harpswell, but obviously the almost $18,000 will certainly help our bottom line and ultimately our taxpayers.
Well, I move that we accept the grant, first of all, and then authorize request for bids.
I will second it.
No discussion, all in favor? All right. Public comment? Nothing. Other business? Boat launch?
Yes, so the due date for bids was this coming Wednesday. I think it's the 28th. And what, 27th, was it? Okay. In any event, the recommendation is that we push that bid deadline out to Wednesday, September 10th at 2 p.m. And the reason is because there have been a number of questions. There's a lot of interest. I think that bodes well for a competitive price
Yep.
for the town. But we were advised if we want to give more time, that's generally a good idea because you want to create as much certainty as you can around, you know, any of these questions and
Yeah,
responding to
yeah.
these questions so people know exactly what they're bidding on. And so I think we can handle that 2-week push out.
The price won't creep up too much more in 2 weeks, right?
No, I don't think so.
I move we extend it by 2 weeks.
I'll second it. I just don't want to see it go any further than 2 more weeks.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
But
But I wouldn't have,
Tentatively
I
second.
wouldn't have
understand why we're doing
suggested
it.
it.
Yeah, I do too. I get why
I
we're doing
would
it. It
not
does make
suggest it,
perfect
But
sense.
even the state
Yeah,
said, you know,
and-
this could really work in your favor, town.
I think,
so
I think it will
I
in this
said I would
case.
bring it up with the board. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. That's why I'll
Okay.
second it.
All right, very good. So you're on board with extending the
Well, I made
deadline?
the
We
for-
gotta
motion,
vote.
second.
I seconded
okay.
it.
Yep. I don't see any discussion, Don, so.
Did Don
Oh,
want to add
that was
to
a
it?
rhetorical question.
No, I would just say, Christie's right. There are 13 contractors who are listed on the current plan holders
Right.
list that requested bids.
Wow.
And there were some very technical questions over and above the normal coordination questions, and that's why they made that recommendation was
Okay.
they needed answers to the technical questions, and then the state said they need time to roll that into their bid. And 1 week was just, they felt too short a time crunch for the contractors to actually digest that
Right.
and put the bid together.
No, it makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely does. Thanks for the clarity.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
All right, anything else, other business-wise?
Do we have to vote on that?
Did you vote on that?
No, we
You
haven't
moved,
voted yet.
seconded,
We
okay.
just,
Oh, you threw me off.
You asked for comments, you made the mistake of asking for comments.
yeah.
And so that includes extending the deadline for questions to Friday, September 5th at 5.
Oh,
The
they said
deadline
2.
for bids,
Oh, 2.
Wednesday, September 10th at 2, and there will be a public bid opening.
Oh,
Okay.
fun.
I know where I'm gonna be on September 10th.
Anyway, all in
Don't
favor?
save me a seat. Yeah.
All
All in
right,
favor? All right.
Thank you.
it's a point, we're adjourned.